All right. Outlines is the name of the artist. 1,130 subscribers. This came out 10 months ago. 162,000 views. The name of the song is Am I a Monster? And let's find out. 4 minutes long. Let's check this out together. I know exactly what it reminds you of. Skillet.
When my rage is bursting in, when my demons close to in, only question remains, am I a monster? After I've lost my control, will I ever change at all? Did I choose the right way only? Time will tell. I ain't gonna wait until doom. Trying to find what is messing with my mind and why I can't feel alright.
This is kind of like a Skillet vibe if it was more attuned to a progressive feel, more attuned to a European feel, whereas Skillet is very Christian rock metal. It's more rock, Christian rock than it is metal. This is more towards the progressive European vibe, more techno, a little bit more, you know, energy in it and less just groove rock. They're very similar, and that's not a bad thing. I've been a fan of Skillet for years. It's pretty good. Yeah, Savage Garden, the Animal song. That's okay. That was I didn't expect that, but I get it, Hinka.
Can't deny it keeps burning me inside.
Yeah, they actually have a song called Monster. Da-na-na-na, dun, da-na-na-na. But the intro to this song reminds me of a different Skillet song. It's got that trap segmented guitar sound. It's very good though. I like this a lot. The riff is too fast to be Godsmack. And the melodics are too high to be Godsmack. Godsmack is more guttural. Right there? That was some Breaking Benjamin shit right there. That build-up vocal, oh, that was that earnest, yearning vocal. That's straight up Breaking Benjamin right there.
Trying to find what is messing with my mind and why I can't feel alright. Can't deny it keeps burning me inside, and there's no place to hide. Yeah, my skies are open again, bursting in motion. I'm drowning in pain. Feels like I've locked up all of my demons in the same cell with escape plans. And I know that when I'm down, I'm losing restraint. I can't let it happen, cause if I do, then I have to blame reality.
This is like Sleep Theory. Sleep Theory, but different, because Sleep Theory checkmarks so many different sounds that you're familiar with from so many bands you love from different, right? Similar with this, it's There's so many similarities to so many other bands that you love iconic songs from, but it's still different. It's still a little unique. So I do like what he's doing here. I enjoy this. Meandrous, 3 Days Grace. This hook you're thinking of, this riff run, this hook riff, 3 Days Grace. Think about it. Think. Listen. 3 Days Grace. I gotta be honest. I think one of the things about this that I really enjoyed, what I enjoyed a lot about this, similar to what Sleep Theory does, is Sleep Theory does Linkin Park vibes. They have some Seven Dust vibes. They've got all these different vibes that you hear in their music, but they present it in a little different focus to where it reminds you of all the things you love, but it's different. Same thing here. There's a lot of stuff that will remind you of 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Skillet, all those bands that have big songs that you love. There's things that remind you of them, but it is still a unique vision. It's a unique song. But again, remember, every music eventually is going to sound like some other music. Remember, right now, we have access to more bands, more artists globally, each one of us, than we've ever had in the history of the world. Because of YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, sharing services, streaming services, there is so much access to bands that you would normally never get to hear, because normally these bands would just be regional or local acts. Because back in the day, only signed, promoted bands ever got radio play. But now with YouTube, you have access to bands from literally the Cape of Good Hope and the Cape of Horn, all the way up to the Arctic Circle, and all the way around. So you have access to so much music. And remember, back in the day, in the early 2000s, from the early 2000s to the 2010s, a lot of those bands were compared to Guns N' Roses, to Metallica, to all the bands of the 80s and into the 90s. So now, most of the bands from the 2020s are going to be compared to the bands from the 20s and the 2010s, because those are the bands that influence them now. Okay? So please understand that if these bands create music that reminds you of 3 Days Grace or Breaking Benjamin or Skillet, remember, those bands were the bands that people listened to every day 20 years ago. So a band that is now out is going to have its feeling to it. It's like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, right? When you're talking the Rolling Stones, when you're talking about the greats of the past, eventually stuff that they make gets brought up into the 80s, and then the 80s into the 90s, and yes, the genres come out, whether it be grunge or new metal or metalcore or black metal or death metal. It doesn't matter, because the influences are still echoed into the music of the future. So when I say, oh, this reminds me of 3 Days Grace, this is not me saying that Outlines is literally taking from 3 days. I'm not saying that at all. Yes, Anthrax, Metal Burb started some shit. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying? When you hear things from bands right now that are up and coming that remind you of anything from the 2000s and 2010s, it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way because they're going to sound like that. And bands that don't sound like that because they sound like something from the 70s or the 80s, you are influenced. You are going to be influenced. Think about all the progressive bands that talk about Rush or Tool. Because if you create progressive metal or progressive rock, those were the OGs that you listened to that made you love that. It all works. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that one. This one was Outlines. Am I a monster? It's a question. Are you? Am I? Probably. And with that, it's a good first introduction. I want to hear more from these guys. If you hear anything new from them, anything coming up, share with me on my social media. We'll check them out. Up and coming Sunday. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right over there. A big thank you to all my Patreons out there for everything you do. And if you want more content like this, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.